the crowning of the king, the return of the Pope, and the global peace. With war concluded, the death strip established, the Eastern armies annihilated, nature's judgment fulfilled, and the spiritual resurrection of Russia complete, Alois Irlmaier foresaw the final act of this terrifying world drama, the crowning of a divinely chosen ruler, the return of a sanctified Pope, and the beginning of a new global era of peace, justice, and divine order. This chapter is not a symbolic utopia. It is a literal sequence of events involving real figures, a king and a pope, and the physical restoration of Europe and the world under a new Christian order. The survivors, few in number, now face the rebuilding of humanity. 1. The thin old man, a divinely appointed king, emerges. Irlmaier saw a man rise in the aftermath of devastation, an old man, thin, modest, and of simple appearance. This man is not a war hero, a general, or a politician. He wears Bavarian folk clothing, including lederhosen, and speaks like a common man. But the people recognize in him something sacred. He is not one of the great ones, but he is devout and full of faith. The people love him and they follow him. This man is taken to Cologne, where the surviving pope crowns him king. He is given authority over a new Europe, not as a dictator, but as a servant leader, whose mission is not conquest, but moral restoration. Irlmaier says this king will re-establish law, order, justice, and faith, and the people will gladly submit to his leadership because he does not rule through fear, but through piety, humility, and sincerity. 2. The return of the Pope. After his escape from Italy during the revolutions and the 3 days of darkness, the Pope returns to Rome when the meadows bloom again, a literal reference to springtime. He does not return in triumph, but in sorrow. He mourns the priests murdered, the churches desecrated, the martyrs forgotten. But his presence becomes a sign of spiritual legitimacy. Irlmaier saw this pope as a true successor of Peter, not a political man, but a holy one, chosen not by conclave power brokers, but by the will of God. In Cologne, the pope crowns not one, but 3 kings: a Hungarian king, an Austrian king, and a Bavarian king, the old man with white hair. Whether these are 3 men or 1 man with 3 crowns is not clear. But their joint coronation symbolizes the restoration of a Christian monarchy in Central Europe. The Pope then leads a great public thanksgiving, including a singing of the Te Deum as the world begins to heal. 3. The renewal of society and faith. With new leadership, both spiritual and royal, the survivors begin the immense task of rebuilding the world. Irlmaier describes refugees returning to their lands, rebuilding homes from ruins, farms being recultivated as food and livestock become central again, bartering in local markets replacing globalized commerce, families praying together, churches reopening, bells ringing, religious orders flourishing again as monasteries and convents welcome vocations. This is not a technological golden age. It is a moral and agricultural renewal, a return to a Christian rhythm of life based on faith, food, family, and the land. Children are taught the faith again. People work with their hands. Sundays become days of true rest. The laws allowing abortion, godlessness, and vice are abolished. 4. The new climate and the abundance of the earth. One of the more surprising literal aspects of Irlmaier's post-war vision is the transformation of the earth's climate. He says, where it was cold, it becomes warm. Where it was dry, it becomes green. There are 2 harvests a year. In Bavaria, for example, oranges, grapes, and southern fruits grow. The air is softer and the winters are less severe. Crops grow faster, animals breed in larger numbers. Irlmaier describes scenes of overflowing food, markets full, and farmers begging people to buy their goods. There is so much food the people are begged to take it. This is not the result of machinery or modern farming. It is a blessing on the land, a divine response to a humbled people. People own only what they can cultivate. Land is distributed fairly. There is no mass industry, no debt slavery, no economic exploitation. The world is smaller, but more peaceful. 5. The Church resurrected, but not politicized. With the Pope restored and the blood of the martyrs honored, The Catholic Church and the Orthodox churches return to prominence, but this time they are not entangled in bureaucracy or politics. The church is no longer rich, but it is holy. Monks, nuns, and priests are respected. Cathedrals are restored. Religious art, liturgy, and sacraments flourish. This spiritual rebirth spreads across the world, not through conquest, but through witness and holiness. 6. The survivors and the meaning of it all. Irlmaier said, "Those who survive will envy the dead at first, but they will soon realize it is a new world, a world of peace, of faith, of hope. Survivors are few. He said more people will have died than in both world wars combined. But those who remain are changed forever. They are no longer arrogant. They do not mock God. They do not wage war for profit. They work, pray, and live with gratitude. Humanity is given a second chance, not to build towers of pride, but villages of holiness." 7. The final numbers, the 3 nines. Throughout Irlmaier's visions, he referred often to 3 nines or 3 eights and a 9. He admitted he did not understand the exact meaning, whether it was days, months, or years. But he knew that these numbers marked the completion of the process. The third 9 brings peace. He never predicted a year, never said when it would begin. But he said when it starts, it goes quickly. From the assassination to the darkness, it is like a flood. Summary of the global restoration. The war ends in total loss for the wicked, victory for the faithful. Communism dies and Christian monarchy is reborn. A new pope and king lead the people, not to domination, but to humility. The earth itself changes, becoming fertile, abundant, and peaceful. The faith is alive again, no longer mocked, but lived. The people are few, but they live well. This is the world that follows the prophecy. A purified, sanctified world, not perfect, but redeemed.